Hi, my friend. If you're someone who has been struggling with her relationship to her body, food, you've struggled with binge eating, restriction, body dysmorphia, you feel like you've struggled with this for your whole life, you have tried things like therapy, diets, mindset work, every exercise program, probably even hormone specialists, affirmations, and you're still feeling completely trapped.
Right, I need your help.
Then this video is absolutely the missing piece for you. Because here's what I've discovered after helping thousands of women all around the world to break free of these struggles that I also struggled with for 20 years. The reason nothing has worked for you long term to heal these issues is because you're not broken, you don't lack willpower. The things you've been doing have been focusing on symptoms and not the root cause. And the root cause is your nervous system. And listen, if you're sitting here watching this and going, oh my gosh, this is me, I have tried absolutely everything, I'm ready to throw in the towel and just accept that this is going to be my life, that is not going to be your life, okay? You do not have to do this alone. It is not your fault that you haven't had the right tools and support yet, and that's what I'm here for. If you are ready to seriously take your life back, to actually focus on the root cause of healing this, to get to a place where you have total freedom with food, your body, and your life, then you can book a discovery call with me. We're going to uncover your blocks, why you've been stuck, develop a personalized blueprint to break free, and see if my program is the right for you. There is zero risk other than getting help on this call. So that is available to you in the link below. Now I want to get into exactly where you've been getting stuck today. Okay, here's why your nervous system has been getting stuck, and let's be really honest about what's happening. Okay, so when you promise yourself you're going to stop binge eating and then you find yourself back in the kitchen again at 10 p.m., or when you body check in the mirror and you spiral again for hours with negative self-talk, or when you feel anxious about certain foods, even the healthy ones, or you exercise to punish yourself to make up for what you ate, when you logically know better but you keep repeating the same toxic patterns, this is your nervous system stuck in survival mode. And this is how that happens because it's not your fault. So one of the biggest ways that your nervous system becomes dysregulated is through our conditioned learning, repeated messages that become solidified beliefs. So maybe it was growing up with diet culture messaging that your worth equals your weight. We all had that. Could have been comments about your body from family members earlier on that trained you to think certain ways about your body. Could be chronic stress or trauma or emotional neglect in your upbringing. Chronic dieting, over exercising, and restriction. Could be being on competitive sports teams where there's a lot of pressure on your body. Having a family member that struggled with their body image or relationship to food, so you learned, okay, I have to do the same thing in order to be loved and accepted. A huge part of you and what's keeping your nervous system dysregulated right now is the inflammatory beliefs that you're being bombarded with every single day from diet culture, the weight loss industry, the wellness culture. You know, every time you see these ads that say summer body ready, or before and after photos suggesting that you have to change your body, or clean eating posts that demonize certain food groups, or fitness influencers, promoting insane types of exercise. All of that gets registered in your nervous system as a threat. It says, I am not safe as I am. I need to change to survive, and I must do everything it takes at my own expense in order to fit in. Is this ringing a bell so far? This is exactly how our nervous system, our poor little nervous system, gets bombarded day in and day out with stress, and why it gets stuck in this dysregulated state. So you're not just dealing with old wounds either from your upbringing, you're literally being re-traumatized on a daily basis by a culture that profits off of your unworthiness and self-hatred. Your poor nervous system can't tell the difference between a physical threat, like a bear running at you, or an emotional threat, like scrolling through Instagram and seeing diet culture content that makes you feel like you're never enough. And when these inflammatory beliefs run on repeat like they do, my body is broken, nothing will work for me, I have to lose weight to be loved, I have to calculate what I eat, if I don't watch what I eat, I'm going to gain weight. Your nervous system is literally under attack. And when your nervous system thinks you're under attack, it triggers a survival stress response that spikes your cortisol, it shuts down your metabolism and your digestion, it creates intense food cravings where we're coping with food because we're so stressed, it makes your inner critic louder and more vicious, It keeps you trapped in fight, flight, or freeze responses, and it just creates a mess, and it's not your fault. And that's what I want you to help you to fix. So one of my clients, Sandy, told me, your teachings on the nervous system changed my life forever. Literally nothing worked for me before this, and I'm forever changed. I've done every diet, every supplement, every program, and what finally worked was nervous system healing and safety. Another client of mine shared, I tried everything: therapy, Prozac, functional medicine, other online programs, Overeaters Anonymous, ED programs, inpatient, outpatient, and learning about nervous system regulation and working in your program was the missing piece. I'm now binge-free and eating disorder-free after 35 years. So if you're hearing these stories and thinking, I want that too, I want to remind you that I have a few spots open this month to connect with me and to really get some support. You can book that call through the description below and learn more about exactly where you're getting stuck, exactly what a personalized blueprint looks like to break free, and you're going to learn if my program is the right fit for you and if you're ready to actually reclaim your life. So that is available to you in the description below. Let me just debunk and blow your brain a little bit here. Why talk therapy alone doesn't work? Here's what most people don't understand. So you can't think your way out of a nervous system problem. Your logical mind, the part of you that says, I know I shouldn't binge eat, I know my worth isn't my weight, that lives in your prefrontal cortex, and it's 15% of who you really are. Your nervous system and your survival responses, those live in the brainstem and your limbic system, and they're the parts of your brain that are 500 million years older and infinitely more powerful. So you are 85% your subconscious, all those conditioned beliefs, and only 15% conscious. So you can have all the intellectual insights in the world and awareness, but if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it will override logic every single time. So this is why you can know logically you shouldn't eat when you're not hungry, but you still do it. This is how you can understand intellectually that your worth isn't your weight, but you still body check obsessively every day. This is how you can intellectually want to stop binging, but find yourself doing it anyways. Your subconscious survival system is running the show, not your conscious mind. And you cannot supplement your way out or diet your way out or willpower your way out of nervous system and emotional dysregulation. But I will teach you what you can do and how you can fix this. Okay, let's do a quick science lesson. Your nervous system operates in 3 main states, and understanding this will change everything. So we're going to use this chart to go through this together. So we have the green zone, the ventral vagal zone, which is ideal for us. We want to spend the most time in the green zone. Green means go. You feel grounded here, food is neutral here, you eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're satisfied, your body image is peaceful, compassionate, you feel like you're killing it. This is what we want. This is where we think clearly and life is good here. Next, when we move up into the red-orange zone, this is where most women who struggle with disordered eating lives. This is where we feel constant anxiety about food and body, this I need to control this, food restriction, compulsive exercise, body checking, appearance obsession. This is where we live in a constant state of anxiety, stress, and cortisol flooding through the bloodstream. And once we've spent enough time in the sympathetic, this is where we go into the blue zone. This is called the dorsal vagal branch of the nervous system. This is where we feel numb. We have so much overwhelm and shame. We convince ourselves, I'm never going to break free of this. This is where we definitely cope using food. So we binge eat a lot, we overeat. This is where there's just a lot of emotional numbing through food. We have this why bother, this dissociation from our body. We start really removing ourselves and isolating from life. We want to be alone. We don't want to go out. We don't want to be with friends. We feel depressed and hopeless, and it just feels terrible. And when we get stuck in the red, orange, or blue zone for too long, that's where we also see the body physiologically start to collapse. So we struggle with mental health, but we also see physical symptoms to the body, leaky gut, insulin resistance, PCOS, thyroid issues, chronic illnesses, fertility issues. That's where the body starts to break down because it's not meant to be in dysregulation and hold that level of stress chronically. So the problem is that most of us have been living in this orange, red, and blue zone for far too long that the nervous system doesn't even recognize safety anymore. And most of us have gotten so used to living in a chronic state of stress that our body has become addicted to it. That's what feels normal and like home. So the beautiful truth is your nervous system is incredibly adaptable, and just like it learned how to be dysregulated, most of which is through no fault of your own, you can learn how to regulate it again. And I'm going to teach you some simple ways that you can learn how to do that. How to start regulation today. Okay, well, this is amazing. Here's 1, 2, 3. The 1, 2, 3s of nervous system safety. Number 1, we want to create a practice every single day of building safety in our nervous system tangibly. So one of my favorite tools to do this is with EFT tapping, because it bypasses the logical mind and it really goes deep into the subconscious, and it simultaneously regulates your nervous system. So you just tap through the points that I'm demonstrating with either your right or left hand, tapping on the right or left side of your body. Dare you not to yawn. And if you can do this for 5 minutes a day, that's going to start changing your life. Your body needs to be reassured on a daily basis that it has tools and practices to help it to feel safe and to come out of that red, orange, and blue zone. The more you do this, the better you feel, so do some tapping at every meal. I just made that rhyme. How cute. This is what you're going to be able to feed your body to let it know I'm safe, I'm okay, you don't need to panic. Very, very important. So we need a daily practice to integrate safety to our nervous system. It doesn't have to be tapping. You can also lean on meditation, whatever you like, but I find tapping to just be really life-changing for so many reasons, okay? And I'm a master certified practitioner, so I do know what I'm talking about. So we have a daily practice of safety. Another tool that I really like is havening, where we go like this. So you can keep doing this havening. You let your hands slide down to your elbows, you pick them back up. Keep using this tool as I teach you the next 2 parts. Number 2, we've got to work on that shame. We've got to alchemize the shame that you're feeling. So this is not your fault, and you must remember that. So quick to blame and shame ourselves any single time that we're struggling with this, and then we isolate because we feel we should know better. You were born into a system that profits off of your pain and your struggles. You know, all of that conditioning, that's not your fault. And you need to keep reminding yourself, this is not my fault. It's okay that I'm struggling, okay? That's what I like to remind you. This is not my fault. It's okay that I'm struggling. I'm learning how to break free. Alchemizing our shame is crucial, because when we stay stuck in shame and isolation and we think we're supposed to do this all alone, we get more stuck in that deeper hole. So that's very important. Step number 3 is we need to challenge the inflammatory beliefs that we've been trained to believe to be true about our body, food, and our lives that are simply not true. So those inflammatory beliefs that you learn from societal conditioning, the weight loss industry, everything that's keeping you sick and stuck, we need to bring it to the surface, create more awareness around it so that you can actually live a life of freedom from it. So as homework, what I want you to do is to write down all the limiting beliefs that you were conditioned to believe to be true about your body and food and your weight from diet culture, weight loss culture, media, etc. I want you to write down all the beliefs, write down how they make you feel and what happens to your life when you believe those beliefs. This is going to be a very eye-open exercise. And then I want you to write down on a separate page, what would you prefer to believe to be true? So if your limiting belief is, I can't be confident in my body until I lose weight, and when I believe that belief, it makes me feel ashamed and hopeless and overwhelmed and whatever. And when that belief runs my life, I see what happens. I restrict food, I do all kinds of unhealthy things, and it creates a mess. That's a very important exercise for you to bring awareness to. And so what would you prefer to believe to be true? If you weren't believing that you needed to lose weight to be confident, what would you prefer to believe to be true? Maybe it's, I can be confident in the body that I have today, and I can create healthy goals for myself from a place of love instead of criticism. That in itself is an eye-opening exercise. So I want you to do that 1, 2, 3. Start with a daily practice to regulate your nervous system and build safety so you can get out of this and give your body the energy it needs to heal and be in the branch of the nervous system it needs to heal, because we can't heal in a chronic state of dysregulation. Remember, this is not your fault, and you do not have to do this alone. Remember, number 3, challenge those beliefs that you have learned to believe to be true, and even repeat to yourself, that is conditioning. Anytime you hear those beliefs pop up, remind yourself, that's conditioning, that's conditioning, that's conditioning. Those aren't my beliefs. When your nervous system feels safe, everything changes. This is exactly where food becomes neutral again. your inner critic gets quiet, you have a stable relationship with your body image that's peaceful, your hormones start to balance, your sleep gets better, your metabolism optimizes, your body feels safe to lose weight, you drop inflammation, your cortisol regulates, you stop needing to control everything, you don't struggle with emotional eating or disordered eating. This is what's possible. And this is also where you're able to rise above that conditioned brainwashing and recognize those aren't my fault, that's conditioning, and I'm not going to let it run my life anymore. That's really important. And my client Erica, she stopped binge eating completely. She lost 15 pounds naturally from doing this work together. She quit her job, she moved across the country, she changed her whole life. And she said, I feel like I've been given a new life after struggling with this her entire life. And a huge piece of this was understanding how to regulate her nervous system. She said she fired her therapist within 2 weeks of starting to work with me in the Brazen program because she finally started addressing the root cause. And my other client, Lenore, shared, I battled restriction, yo-yo dieting, body image issues since childhood. I was using food and alcohol to cope, and my relationship with exercise was guilt-driven, and I used it as punishment. And together, through our work, Lenore broke free of the binge purge cycle. She fell in love with cooking. She completely changed her career path. And now she's applying to be a clinical dietitian because she wants to help other women to heal too. So she told me working together was one of the most profound and life-changing experiences she's ever had. And this is all possible for you too. So you're not a unique case. You're not broken. I know you feel that way, but I need to shout it from the rooftops. You just haven't been given the right tools and you haven't focused on the root cause. And that's exactly what we need to do in order to support you to heal. So if what I've shared today really resonated with you and you want to stop addressing symptoms and start addressing the root cause, then I want to invite you to book a call with me. It's free. There's no risk. We're going to have a conversation and see how I can support you. And if I can't, I'll be totally honest with you and I'll help you get the right help. So there's really no risk to you. And this call is for women who are ready to invest in themselves, who are ready to commit to changing their lives, not just with their body and food, but to really learn how to live their most impactful, authentic lives. And I know you deserve that. So if that sounds like something you're up for, then you can book a spot through the link below and grab them quick because they do go fast. And I want to remind you once again as a take-home message, you're not broken. You don't need more discipline. You don't need another diet or another book or another affirmation. You need nervous system safety. And that is quite literally the best gift you could give yourself regardless of food and body struggles. You need to remember that you're worthy of love. You're worthy of having the life that you deserve. And this ends with you. If you learn how to heal this, you will not pass it down to future generations and you will break this cycle for good, which is incredibly empowering. So thank you so much for being here. Super proud of you and let's do this.